Hello, students, and welcome to Mr. Sandwich Reads. I am, as always, Mr. Sandwich, and today I want to read A Race for the Chinese Calendar by Ryan Frank. If you've been following along, I did just recently post a nonfiction book about the Chinese New Year, and here I've got a fictional book about the Chinese New Year, the Chinese calendar. So let's take a look. All right, welcome in. I am Mr. Sandwich. A Race for the Chinese Calendar by Ryan Frank is what we're reading today, so hope you enjoy, and let's check it out. The Chinese calendar is organized in a 12-year cycle, with each year named after a different animal. The animals are rat, ox, tiger, this is the year of the tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, ram, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Why were these animals chosen, and why are they represented in that order? The answer lies in an ancient Chinese legend. Long, long ago, all the animals in the world could speak and think. They had all sorts of dispositions. Some were funny, clever, and mischievous. Some were wise and even wicked. They roamed the land, encountering the Chinese ancestors, helping or hindering them in going about their lives. One day, the Chinese ancestors decided to create a calendar to mark the passage of time. The worthiest of the animals would be chosen to represent the passing years. The ancestors argued about which animals should be chosen. It was decided that the best way to settle the dispute would be to have a race. At first, only a few animals intended to race, but when the rest heard what honor they could receive by winning, they decided to participate. Rat was best friends with Cat in those days, and he asked Cat whether he wanted to race. "Of course," agreed Cat right away. "I will then be revered for my speed and agility." "Ah," said Rat, "but it takes more than speed to win a race. One must have wits." Cat scoffed. "Bah, who needs wits?" Cat was so sure of himself that Rat began to plan a way to win the race and to teach Cat a little humility at the same time. The day of the race came, and all the animals arrived. It had been decided that the race course would pass through a valley, go around a mountain, go over a huge pile of logs, and finally cross a river to the finish. When Rat and Cat arrived together, Rat pointed to the other racers. "Look at horse and ox. They seem excited to prove themselves. Their legs are long, and they are much taller than we are. It will be difficult to defeat them with speed alone, don't you think?" "Perhaps for you," laughed Cat. "However, I am certain I am faster than those heavy beasts." Rat shook his head. "It isn't a weakness to admit you'll need strategy, my friend," he said to Cat. "Stick with me, and you will learn the virtue of quick thinking." Cat was stubborn and spat. "Strategy is only a crutch for the slow and foolish. I'll bet I can win this race without any tricks." "Are you certain?" asked Rat. "I fear your confidence is commendable, but misplaced. I will take your bet, for I think I shall win this race with my wits and tricks." They agreed to wager and took their places at the starting line. The rest of the animals lined up, the bell sounded, and the race began. Cat and Rat stayed close together, and they quickly passed by Dog and Pig, who were running neck and neck. They passed Rooster, who was flapping his wings, desperate to go faster. As they sped along, Cat began to feel winded, but Rat moved with purpose and zeal. His stamina was unsettling. Cat began to wonder if perhaps he had underestimated his friend. Cat marveled at Rat's skill, and they caught up with Monkey and Ram. Monkey had a firm grasp on Ram's tail and was being pulled. Ram seemed unaware of Monkey's presence. The animals had passed through the valley and were approaching the mountain. Cat watched as Horse began to stumble and trip. It did not seem to be behavior befitting of Horse, who is known for speed and endurance. Cat soon saw the cause of Horse's problems. Horse was frightened of Snake, who had slithered under his legs. Cat and Rat passed them both, and by now Cat felt very sure of himself. "So much for strategy and wits," he called to Rat. "We've passed nearly everyone, and all using our speed alone. It seems that you will owe me an apology when I win." Rat tolerated Cat's taunts as long as he could, and together they rounded the corner and came to the other side of the mountain. Now the animals felt tired, and many stopped to catch their breath. Rat spared a glance over his shoulder and saw that many of the animals they had passed were huffing and puffing, panting and wheezing. Dog lagged, and Pig pulled ahead of him. Above, Dragon was flying, vigilantly watching his fellow racers with his wise, compassionate eyes. He saw Rat and Cat running side by side, and just ahead of them he saw Rabbit climbing the pile of logs set up as an obstacle. Of course the logs were a small matter for Dragon, but as he watched, Rabbit slipped and became trapped between two logs. Dragon came down from the clouds and began to pull the logs away from Rabbit, who was exhausted and shaking with fear. As Dragon helped Rabbit, Cat and Rat hurried past them both. All that remained between Cat, Rat, and eternal glory were Tiger, Ox, and a rolling river of rushing water. Tiger, who was a cousin of Cat's, saw Ox as not only his opponent in the race, but as a savory meal, and he was doing his best to keep up. However, Ox knew her enemy's weakness and dove headfirst into the rushing water. Tiger, distressed but unwilling to concede the victory, skirted the edge of the water and rushed for the bridge. Cat thought to do the same thing until he realized Rat was using Ox as a boat. There Rat sat, resting happily on Ox's broad head while the sturdy creature swam to the finish line. Cat winced as he dove in and swam after them. After all, everyone knows how cats hate water. Soon he made his way to Ox's head. Ox glanced at Cat, but quickly turned her attention to swimming again, as the water was frigid and forceful and difficult to fight. While her attention was diverted, Cat reached out his paw to Rat. "What's this?" Rat wondered aloud. "What drowned creature seeks to pull me under the water?" "Rat, you fool, it's me," sputtered Cat. "Help me up so that we can get to the finish line." Rat smiled and folded his paws behind his head as if taking a nap. "I am resting, Cat. Besides, didn't you bet you could win without tricks or wits? You don't seem so brave now that you're soaking wet and shivering cold." Cat could only watch in disbelief as Rat pushed him back into the water and away from Ox's head. Cat was so shocked by the cold and the betrayal of his friend that he was pushed down the river and over a waterfall and ended up far away from the finish line. When Ox reached the shore, tired and wet, Rat jumped off her head, thanking her kindly. Ox was so surprised, she stopped in her tracks, and Rat had the last advantage he needed to reach the finish line first. Ox regained her senses and crossed after him, and Tiger after her. Rabbit, Dragon, Snake, Horse, Ram, with Monkey in tow, Rooster, Dog, and finally Headstrong Pig. However, there was no sign of Cat. Once Pig crossed the finish line in 12th place, the 12 years in the Chinese calendar cycle were named. Tiger approached Rat. "Where is my cousin Cat? I saw him by your side the whole time. How could he get lost?" Rat was about to make up an excuse when Cat arrived, dripping wet and furious. Rat had deprived Cat of the fame he was seeking. There would be no year of the cat in the calendar. Without a word, Cat sprang at his former friend and drove the trickster away. To this day, Cat considers Rat his enemy and pursues him at every chance. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. There is no Year of the Cat. I'm sorry for all my feline friends out there. These books, these hardcore books, I got just about a year ago. I ordered these. I unveiled that. I was very excited about these. And one thing I like are these questions at the end, and I'll have that posted as well. Just some questions to discuss or think about. What is the purpose of the introduction? So it kind of sets up the legend there. And really, it explains the order of the years, but it also kind of gives a little background to explaining the relationship, the dynamic between cats and rats. So a lot of times in myths or legends, we get like an explanation of why things are. Not a scientific explanation, but an entertaining story and belief of why things are the way they are. Why do cats hate rats? Well, in this case, the rat betrayed the rat, his former friend. What does the dialogue between cat and rat show about their relationship? Dialogue being their discussion, how they converse, they're talking with each other. Number 3, why was Cat surprised by Rat's actions in the river? Well, I just said he was betrayed. Number 4, how are Rat and Cat different? How are they the same? It's a good discussion question. And then number 5, which animal would you want to be in the story and why? All right. So again, I love these hardcore books. And again, happy Chinese New Year. I hope you enjoyed. I know my son's been very excited, so be sure to share this with him. Feel free to email me at mrsandwichreads@gmail.com. Check me out on Twitter, Mr. Sandwich at Mr. Sandwich Reads. Hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. Please recommend. I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of this month. It is February 2022. Have a great year. Year of the Tiger. All right. Peace.